Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Monday, and it is a very good Monday indeed. Arsenal winning 3-2 at Watford tomorrow and sitting nicely in the top four after Man United's defeat at Manchester City yesterday. Arsenal in the top four, 3 games in hand on Manchester United, who are below them. 6 points clear of Spurs, 3 games in hand on West Ham as well, who are below them. Just looking at the table here, it is getting a bit exciting, isn't it? We might actually do this. No, stop thinking like that. I don't want to think it. Don't want to jinx it. But it's been a good weekend again for Arsenal. Let's see what Everton can do against Tottenham tonight. It'd be lovely if they could go there and get something at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But all Arsenal can do at the moment is focus on themselves, and at the moment they are getting the job done. 8 wins from 10 in the Premier League, scoring goals. They made it hard work, as I said in my video from Vicarage Road yesterday. They did make it probably a little bit harder than they should have done yesterday, but it was another win, another 3 goals, and they just keep moving on. There is a really big week coming up for Arsenal this week. Bit of downtime now, the next few days leading up to Sunday's game, against Leicester. And then it's Sunday against Leicester, Wednesday against Liverpool, Saturday afternoon against Aston Villa. 3 games in 6 days. Going to be a big week that for Arsenal. How many points should they get? I was talking to someone about this earlier today. What do you take from those 3 games? 6 points would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, you don't want to obviously lose a game, but 6 points from 9 out of those ones. Liverpool, we know that's going to be very, very difficult. Win against Leicester, win against Villa, lose against Liverpool. Would you take that? Do Arsenal need more? Would you take 4 points? Maybe a draw at Villa, because Villa away is not going to be easy. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Got to be like Mikel Arteta says, just focus on one game. Leicester coming up this weekend. That's what Arsenal got to focus on. Win that game and then think about Liverpool and Aston Villa to come. But it's been another good week. I'm not going to go too much over yesterday's game really again, because I covered that in the video. If you haven't watched it yet, give it a watch. It's down there. It's the last video I did from Vicarage Road. But I just wanted to talk a little bit more. I'm going to start on Arsenal's the Fab Four that they seem to be becoming known. Obviously, one of them didn't play yesterday, Emile Rowe. But Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel, Martinelli did. All 3 of them scored. Saka set up Odegaard's, and Odegaard had a big part to play in Martinelli's goal as well. That ball from Odegaard in the build-up to Martinelli's goal, it was so difficult, and brilliant from Lacazette as well to kill the ball dead and play it into Martinelli's path. But the pass from Odegaard was just so good. He's such a good player, Martin Odegaard. Every single week he's brilliant now. He's got some really big games coming up against difficult opponents. It's going to be interesting to see how he does in those games, because the level of football he's playing at the moment is just brilliant. I loved his goal. I like all 3 of those goals yesterday were just top quality, weren't they? You couldn't. It's tough to pick which was best. I think I'd probably say Martinelli's, but all 3 of them were superb. And those 4 players, it's just that's what you build your team around. That's why I think if Arsenal do go on and get Champions League football next season, but if they're going to get top 4 this season, it could be so transformative, because what that could do, because we know what Arsenal are going to do in the summer, don't we? We know where they're going to focus in the transfer market. It's going to be on the forwards. They're going to need at least 2, because let's face it, unless something changes, Lacazette and Nketiah are going to go, which basically leaves Arsenal with no one apart from Balogun, who will probably end up going out on loan next season again anyway. So Arsenal are going to focus on the forwards when it comes to the transfer market in the summer. At least 2. 2. It'll be 2. Forwards, and then obviously there'll be a midfielder and maybe a backup right back as well. But the big money is probably going to go on the forwards. And if they can go on and get Champions League football for next season and bring in that extra finances, what it could do would be absolutely transformative. I think they'll go pretty big anyway, whatever happens when it comes to getting the forward they want in the summer. But if they can get Champions League football, what that means in terms of the lure, players wanting to come, potentially maybe able to sort of go up to that next level when it comes to targets. I mean, Mikel Arteta was speaking ahead of the game against Watford. I haven't got the quotes here, but he was talking about, this is a time, again, he keeps saying it, he reiterates it, this is the time, the next transfer market is a time for Arsenal to go up a level. That's the signings they want to sign, that's the players they want to bring in. It's not players who are just going to fill the gaps, so to speak. It's players who are going to come in and not just be another squad player, they're going to take the club to another level. And when you look at the basis that they've got to work around, and that Fab Four that I talk about, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, those youngsters in the attack, that the forward, whoever they bring in the summer, is going to be absolutely key. Because look, Lacazette has been absolutely vital to them. You look at him, another 2 assists yesterday. Yes, he didn't score, but Lacazette is proven to be absolutely so important to our Arsenal play. They wouldn't have won that game without Lacazette yesterday. No chance. They just wouldn't have done it. And as easy as it is to kind of write off Lacazette at the moment and knowing he's going, and yes, he's not scoring goals, Arsenal have they've got to be smart when it comes to the transfer market, because those players, the Fab Four as they're being called, they need that focal point to help them do what they do, and that's what Lacazette did yesterday. He helped them do what they do. He held the ball up. He rolled the ball into space. It was his touches that allowed Martinelli and Saka to set themselves and shoot, and that's what the new forward's going to have to do. I mean, you look at the stats. I've got it here: Saka, Martinelli and Smith Rowe. So Arsenal have now got 3 players aged 21 or younger with 5+ goals in the Premier League this season. That's Saka, Martinelli and Smith Rowe. That's only ever happened 3 times before. I think it's Chelsea. Chelsea did it, actually. I've got it here. Yeah. Chelsea in 2019-20, Leeds in 98-99, United in 95 and 96. Other than that, it's never happened before. That's the level that Arsenal's youngsters are playing at this season. I mean, Odegaard's only just, he's still a relatively young player as well, and he's got 5+ Premier League goals. So the youngsters are just doing the business now on a regular basis. Arsenal's attack is, you look at the numbers, the stats all around, since Christmas, since December basically, since Lacazette came into the side and Aubameyang went out, Arsenal's output going forward and the numbers going forward are just on the rise. And it's just a really exciting prospect, isn't it? And that's why there's such a good base to build this club around over the next few years, and that's why this summer is going to be really important, because I don't actually like the Fab Four, the name the Fab Four, so I keep saying it and I don't actually like it. Every time I say it in my head, I'm don't do that. But they give Arsenal so much opportunity to improve over the next few years, and that bringing in the right striker to play with them and to get the best out of them on a regular basis is going to be so important this summer, because as we are seeing with Lacazette at the moment, you need to get that right player who can do it. And there's a couple of comments here from Bukayo Saka. He says, as soon as I want it, this is for his goal, as soon as I want it, I found Lacazette and he knows my movement and where I am. It's so fun to play with him. He put the ball in a perfect spot for me and it was just down to me for finish, and I finished well. But there's that understanding there, and you can see there's that understanding there between Arsenal's attackers at the moment. And so as good as it is, and as exciting as it is to know Arsenal are going to spend big on a striker in the summer, they're going to have to pick and choose well, and hopefully they will, because look, we can only go on what Arteta and Edu have done in the transfer market together recently, and last summer they got it absolutely spot on with their signings, and you can only hope that the scouting department, the analytical department, everyone who's deciding which strikers are going to be coming into Arsenal are going to get it right, and someone's going to come in and not just do what Lacazette's doing, but take them to the next level, and that's what we want. Obviously Lacazette's been great, but you got to score goals. He didn't score again yesterday. He had a couple of chances, didn't score. Wish he had, because he deserved to, but he didn't. So you got to bring someone in who does the same things as Lacazette well, but also the most important thing, also puts the ball in the net. So big decisions to make for Edu and Arteta. Just going back to those young forwards, Odegaard and Saka. I mean, Odegaard I've already waxed lyrical about today. I wrote a piece after yesterday's game on Saka as well, saying, if anyone deserves Champions League football in this Arsenal squad, it's him. He deserves to be playing at the very top level. Just such a good player. He was wonderful again yesterday. His goal was fantastic. And that link up between Odegaard and Saka, you can see the understanding between the two of them. I mean, for Odegaard's goal, the little spin by Odegaard, the flick, Saka's run, then finding him with that reverse pass into Odegaard's path when he didn't even have to break stride. It's just a real understanding. You saw it all game long yesterday, and we've seen it in previous games as well, that those two, they're just getting better and better as the season goes on, as they play more games together. That right-hand side's becoming really, really fruitful for Arsenal. I thought it was really important for Martinelli to get his goal yesterday as well. Hopefully that gives him a real decent confidence boost, because I think Martinelli's levels dipped a little bit the last few games, so hopefully getting that goal will really sort of kick him on again. And Arsenal, of course, have got Emile Smith Rowe to come back. Missed out yesterday with COVID, which was a shame. Sort of was ill last weekend, came back, started training, then went down with COVID. Hopefully he'll be back for Leicester. You'd think he would. I mean, as long as he's not got it badly or anything like that, and you think he probably started isolating towards the end of last week, so he should be involved for Leicester, which will be really, really important. And then will he come in? We'll have to wait and see. It could be Martinelli, it could be Smith Rowe. It's a nice problem for Arteta to have. And I haven't even spoke about Nicolas Pepe. He's another one to add into the mix. I thought Pepe looked bright when he came on yesterday. And just suddenly Arsenal got a lot of attacking options, and it just looks really nice, because we kind of spent the first half of the season bemoaning Arsenal's attacking options and how they were kind of going through the motions going forward. They're a little bit boring. They were sort of plodding very slowly, but it's completely flipped on its head now since the turn of the year. Suddenly Arsenal are a very vibrant, exciting attacking team who are scoring goals, who are creating chances, who are their XG's decent for all their XG lovers out there. They're getting shots on goal, decent attempts on goal during the 90 minutes, which something wasn't happening during the season. They actually looked a little bit, they looked very shaky at the back yesterday, which we haven't seen too often. So the whole thing was kind of flipped on its head a little bit. And, Arteta wasn't happy. He was really angry. I thought, watching him on the touchline yesterday, you wouldn't have seen it too much, because obviously the cameras were focused on the game, but it was just in front of us, Arteta. And he really wasn't happy with what he was watching yesterday. Even after the goals, I think it was after Saka's goal, the first thing he did was call a couple of players over, and he was just fuming at them. And you could see he wasn't happy. And even his press conference afterwards, he wasn't. You could see he hadn't really calmed down. He was obviously very happy that Arsenal got the win, and he spoke glowingly about a few players and stuff. But I think today at Colney, it'll bring that team in. They'll watch this game again and watch a certain amount of incidents that him and the stats team or the analytical team have picked out on video, and they'll show, and it'll be saying that we can't afford to be this open again. Certainly next week against the teams we've got coming up, if we play that open, we're going to get picked apart. We asked in the press conference afterwards about, you looked angry, and he said, because I didn't like how we were controlling the game, we were allowing spaces against the team, and if we keep allowing to do that, we're going to suffer. And I knew that. We had to put that right, and we did it for certain periods. Then in the last 25 minutes, we lost it again. We have to show that maturity and understanding and capacity to control the game how we want to. At 3-1, after we had to make 300,000 passes in the opposition half, and when they have the right moment to come at us, then we attack them. We didn't do that. The game was open. You had the feeling it was open right until the end. I love that quote about 300,000 passes. It just makes you think he's a Pep Guardiola disciple, isn't it? It's just pass, control the game, and Arsenal can't quite do that yet. We know that. They're a very young team. They're not the finished article. They can't do what Manchester City do, but you can see it in his head. That's exactly what Arteta wants from his side. He wants them to just pass teams to death, control the game completely, put it to bed. And Arsenal, they certainly didn't do that yesterday, and you could see how frustrated Mikel was. But I like that. I really like that mentality, and hopefully, as this project, as it's called, progresses, and different players, some other new players come in potentially, that Arsenal get better at doing that. But they're not there yet, no doubt about it. Mikel was also asked about Lacazette. I've said what Saka had to say, and he said he will still not be happy in that dressing room because he wants to score, but a lot of the things he did for the team are phenomenal. And as I said earlier on, they were. I thought Lacazette had a really good game yesterday. I know a lot of you have disagreed with my player ratings. It's always tough doing player ratings, especially when you're there and when you and others are watching on TV. You get a very different view of the game, I think. And a lot of you weren't too impressed with my player ratings yesterday, as usual. And the fact I gave Granit, I think I gave Granit a 7, I gave Thomas Partey a 7, and I think a lot of you disagreed with that, and thought that Partey certainly should have been higher rated than Granit Xhaka, which, fair enough. From what I was watching, and admittedly in the second half, I'm doing an awful lot of writing, so, not always looking at the game. It's the perils of being a football journalist. You're typing away, trying to get something done for the full-time whistle, and suddenly you look up and you've missed something. Apologies if you didn't think they were right. I can only say what I saw, though. Unfortunately, I gave man of the match to Saka, and plenty of you I know gave it to Martin Odegaard, and I wouldn't certainly complain about that, because Odegaard was fantastic as well. But I do think Lacazette deserves a lot of credit for the way he played, because he had a very, very good game yesterday. And Mikel was asked in his press conference about Lacazette staying, and again, Lacazette possibly signing a new contract, and again he kind of fudged the question a little bit, as he does with this, and will speak at the end of the season. Personally, I can't see it. I can't see Arsenal suddenly offering Lacazette a contract. And even if they do, it'd be a short-term type thing, and Lacazette can probably, now he's in a very strong position, he'll be able to get 3 or 4 years perhaps somewhere else at a decent league, at a decent level. So it just feels like this is going to be a summer where Lacazette moves on. And personally, I think it's the right time. Arsenal got to bring in a couple more strikers in the summer now, and it just feels like the right time to move Lacazette on and bring someone else in. But he's certainly showing how professional he is at the moment with all the stuff going on about his future in the contract. Uncertainty, shall we say. He's still producing and playing and putting in captain's performance week in, week out, so credit to him for that. That's about it for today's video. Sorry, it's a bit rambly, I think, today's one. I just wanted to talk. Just wanted to chat about the game and what I saw and what I think in the direction that Arsenal are going at the moment. Press conference, not sure when that'll be this week. I imagine it will probably be Friday as the game is Sunday, but as I do a few more videos as the week progresses, I will let you know once Arsenal confirm to us when the press conference will be. But like I said, imagine it will be Friday. Until then, enjoy the start of your week, everyone. I'm sure you'll all be watching the game tonight. Fingers crossed Everton can do us a favour. And yeah, if they do, Arsenal will be in an even better position. We'll see how events unfold. But until then, have a great week, everyone. I'll be back soon. Speak to you soon.